All right. Welcome back, everyone. We will start this off with a .09 stakeholders meeting. So the purpose of this meeting is to really discuss establishing a policy for how we're going to distribute .09 funds. It would be much better if everybody knew exactly how they were distributed and the timelines and those sorts of things. So that's the purpose of this meeting, and I will hand it off to you, Travis, since you wrote up a procedure.
Sure. So just a brief history so that everybody kind of knows how I came into this. When I came over into this position, there was some concern that there wasn't really a procedure for how to apply for the .09 funds. There was no timeline involved, anything like that. I received some feedback from at our monthly administrators breakfast that's ran by the EDC from a lot of the different stakeholders that they would like to see something put into place. I think I came back and talked to the commission. The commission agreed that that would probably be something that would be useful. I spent a bit of time going out to other counties and looking at the procedures that they had posted and how they do the process. Compiled what I felt like was probably the best practices from what I could tell from around the state, and then put this document together. Put it out to feedback from the commission, got some feedback there. Also sent it out to the EDC so that they could distribute it among some of the stakeholders out there so that they could provide feedback. I received a lot of feedback. Some of that feedback was somewhat contradictory with one another. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just from the perspective of the stakeholders. They had things that they would like to see or not see in there. It was not going to be productive for me to do a whole lot of changing the document, coming to the commission, going back to the stakeholders, going back and forth. So I felt it would be a little bit more productive to just simply have a meeting where the commission could ask any of the stakeholders who'd like to discuss what they'd like to see in there or the problems, and we could change it or not change it as the commission sees fit, because this is obviously a county document, county procedure, so it is up to the county commissioners. So that was kind of the history behind it, and kind of the spirit with which I would want to enter into this. I'm, as far as I'm concerned, sort of Switzerland on the document. I don't really have hard feelings about it one way or another. If they convince you that it's a good idea to make some changes in here, happy to do it. Just wanted to bring everybody together so that we could talk about it.
Well, typically on a briefing, we don't take comment from the general public, but we can bend those typical rules. And I think we can open it up for comments. If you can keep your comments to 3 minutes, and try and remember this is about the policy, not specific projects or programs that you're looking for, but how can we improve this process and make it work better for everyone. So with that, I'm going to kind of open it up to those who would like to make a comment.
Do you want them to come to the table? Or?
Yeah, I'd suggest come to the table. That way we'll be closer to the microphone. So who wants to step up? Well, it looks like we have our first volunteer.
Well, I don't have to be up here alone. I mean, if anybody else is wanting to circle up too, I mean, I think. Very good.
You're not alone.
Here we are, a rose between two thorns. So just to kind of put a finer point maybe on
Well,
I wanted to be polite and
Another
leave a
rose.
chair open for anybody else.
he's the stem.
So to kind of put a finer point, on what Travis said, this is something that at the EDC we've been talking about since Mark was in Travis's position, and really we're a beneficiary of the 09 fund. I mean, that's the contracted work that we do with the county, but there had not really been a rhyme or reason to when that process would get started and what would trigger that, and there would be kind of a letter that was sent out that would say, hey, we have EDC funding applied for to 09. that would get sent out to all the eligible agencies, but it wasn't clear to them that there was also an opportunity for them to apply for 09 funding at that same time. And so Jen and Mark started to work on this, probably about a year or so ago. And so it's just kind of an opportunity for us to work with you all about, what a process would look like that was a little bit more clear and transparent for eligible entities. I will say, there hadn't really been a need to do this, I think in large part because we did have American Rescue Plan funding that was going out to a lot of these organizations, and I think that was a really successful process and endeavor for the county. It was a great way to partner with these organizations to get critical infrastructure projects completed, and so they've been really good stewards of that money and have been able to deliver really good projects for the community. As we start to think about that money tapering off and what the future looks like, I've read a lot in the paper about some of the concerns that the county has with their finances and the budget picture and everything. This is an opportunity to use funding that is very, very specific for specific things to lean into economic development in the county, which if we're successful in that mission collectively, that should help your revenue situation out as well. And so if we're strategic in that, I think we can help turn the tide a little bit on some of the pressures that the general fund is feeling.
One request, state your name, who you're with.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I know who you are and who you're with, but.
Yeah, Kevin Schutte, Economic Development Council. Yeah, so we want to be able to help facilitate this. Obviously, one of our deliverables for the county and our contract with you is soliciting projects for the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy project list. We solicit those projects, compile them, and turn those over to you, so you have at least an idea of what projects might be eligible for 09 funding and what would make sense. And so we want to be able to support this process, and not just the county, but all of our partners who are out there trying to do good work for their parts of the community as well.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
I'll go. Justin Holsgrove, Mason PUD 3. We think that the form that Travis put together is strong, a good framework there. There are a couple of things that PUD 3 has to provide feedback on specifically. The first is, in the proposal, a standard project is $0 to $250,000, and we feel like with projects that are actually working to move the needle for economic development, those projects cost much more than that. If we're actually looking to make a difference on infrastructure and bringing and retaining businesses. And so PUD 3 thinks that a standard project should probably start at $250,000 as opposed to the other way around. There also seems to be a specific issue of, if it's a multi-year project, there's some additional steps to take for approvals and whatnot. And these projects are all going to be multi-year projects if they're actually moving the needle for economic development. So while that multi-year process seems okay, let's just make it part of the standard because the project should be larger to start with. The second item would be that we would think that the Board of County Commissioners should be the authorizing entity rather than the scoring entity. And instead of having you guys be the scorers, our recommendation would be to have what RCW sort of implies or at least hints at, that the county would consult with cities, towns, port districts, and the ADO to be the scoring criteria that scoring committee would bring to you folks as the Board of County Commissioners, and then you would authorize as opposed to be the scorers. That's our second bit of feedback. And then the third has to do with the idea of geographic equity. The document says that we're going to be based on scores, and then the Board of County Commissioners can do a geographic equity review. PUD 3 feels that the funding should all be centered within urban growth areas, very specifically as it relates to economic development. Let's tie that funding to the urban growth areas throughout the county. Specifically, Shelton UGA has multiple parties involved and is a major driver within the county. We also understand that you represent different areas, and there certainly will be different parties that come to the table. And so if you wanted to look at a geographic equity, maybe a mechanism could be put in place that would look something like this, just a proposal. Year 1, taking applications for Shelton UGA. Cycle number 2, year number 2, taking applications for Belfair UGA. Cycle 3, another UGA. And then once they make it through, then cycle back to year 1 as well. So that allows for some structure behind the geographic equity piece as opposed to maybe something that's a little more subjective. So those are our 3 pieces of feedback for consideration. Thank you.
Who would like to go next?
Kristen Masteller with Mason County PUD number 1. Big thanks to Travis for getting this, herding the cats and getting this process put together. I know it's not easy. And just thanking the commission for finally putting together a process for this. So Mason PUD 1 brings home to Mason County a lot of federal dollars, not just state dollars through capital budget requests, but also federal appropriations and federal grants, and they all require some sort of local match. And as a small entity, the local match is difficult to swing, even because as Justin said, there's multi-million-dollar projects. So a 5% match on a $3 to $5 million project is significant for a utility that has 9,000 meters total. We would respectfully disagree with Justin's position about the geographic equity. Not all of our agencies are located in UGAs. And just because we're not in a UGA doesn't mean that the infrastructure developments that we're doing are not important and don't move the needle in economic development, specifically when it comes to housing. Workforce housing inventory, the county did a housing needs assessment, what the figures are in the gap analysis there. So the way to provide that is to get the water infrastructure together for water adequacy forms that are coming through the building permit process, and then also having electrical capacity for future development. Not all that occurs in the UGA. So I would hope that you would keep that geographic diversity intact the way it is, so that way you can have the flexibility to choose projects that you think are worthy of the funding and meet the criteria under the .09 guidance. And then as far as the size of the awards, I agree. Our projects are not small. You might have smaller things, like I know you funded a dock project that was about 35. That's great. That's a great project for that agency. But for many of our agencies, the projects that we're needing matching funds on, these are $5 to $10 million projects. So if you want to actually move the needle on economic development in a way that supports the comprehensive plan, and the economic component of the comprehensive plan is that you've got to invest those dollars in the region in projects that are going to build that capacity. And a lot of that's utilities, and utility infrastructure is expensive. So I would hope that the projects would be awarded, up to $500,000, and then have that flexibility. I think you wrote that in there, where if they're bigger than that, we can come pitch that and explain why it's important. So I'd like to see that remain intact as well. But thank you for doing this process.
Yeah, actually, I wrote in there that, I would think it would be appropriate for anybody wanting to access the .09 funds to have the opportunity to come in and present to the commission.
Yeah.
So that they can sell their project and explain
Yeah.
the benefits better than probably you and I can
Right.
when it's explained to me, so that's fine. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
So, can I ask a question real quick? So, so we do have small projects, so how would, and you can answer this, how would you say, the presentations, you're saying the presentations should come before the BOCC, but if the BOCC is only being the authorizer, not the scoring, then the scoring should, or those presentations should go before whoever that scoring committee is, correct?
That was
Yeah,
Justin's idea.
PUD3's feedback was that there would be a scoring committee, and yes, I think that in that framework, it would be appropriate for them to present to the scoring committee.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, I'm gonna wait until they're done. I've got a lot of comments on it.
Good morning, Mark Ziegler, City Manager, City of Shelton. For the sake of brevity, I don't want to regurgitate what my colleagues up here have stated, other than the importance of putting these dollars to work in our communities on behalf of the City of Shelton, and the need for public infrastructure to be extended within our UGA as we get those comments, questions on a regular basis about how we can continue to extend these to points much like Sanderson Field and out Spring Road that we're talking about, our most latest application, to bring workforce housing, commercial development into our communities and leverage the funds that are already available to us. We purposely did not request any funds from our legislators this year for this project, for the Spring Road sewer extension, just because of some of the uncertainty with where other funds were going to come from. With nearly $1 million of federal funds that luckily enough the Port of Shelton was able to obtain last year from Derek Kilmer's office. Those have been now transferred over to the city. Since it's a city project, we're intent on moving forward with that project to help bring some stability to some of those neighborhoods that are out there in the Blevins Road area that we're familiar with, but also bring that economic development opportunity by having that public infrastructure closer to Sanderson Field and to the doorstep of a potential 80-plus unit multifamily housing project that the county approved, I believe in 2024, right, through the planned unit development process. So those are just, I guess some of the examples of the opportunities that we saw in our project proposal with that sewer line extension. And as I said, we're going to continue moving forward with that. As we saw in that short session, we just didn't believe that there was the capital funds available, but we hope to leverage existing federal money, some local money out of the city of Shelton, and then potentially a couple other pots of money to get that project done and continue that infrastructure improvement within the Shelton UGA. So appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So just to sharpen this pencil a little bit, is there any comments about the policy that you want to make?
Again, I'm just regurgitating kind of what I heard. Specifically the funding amount. I agree. These are, this is a $2 million additional funding request for this sewer line extension. There's about $1 million, like I said, of design and could move into construction money on top of that. But the $250,000 mark is a pretty low threshold. I appreciate everybody sitting up here and the others that'll be applying for these funds, but but I can speak for the city of Shelton and the needs here, that any ranking or scoring based on that proximity demographic within the UGA is certainly something that we would like to consider as well.
Okay, Ryan, do you want to?
Somebody else want to speak first?
Anybody else in the room want to comment or come up and have any comments? Seeing none? Commissioner Neville?
Okay, yeah, I have some comments on this and some issues. I've been around a long time, and there's certain things I know that I've never liked when it came to the 09 funds and stuff. I want to point out a couple pieces. We have money right now because of ARPA. We didn't expend monies, so we got used to something on a large scale where big dollars went out. We don't have that kind of money in ARPA to feed on a regular basis. It just doesn't exist. That pool is a lot smaller. Right now, there is money there, and we need to look at how to do things with it. I'm not a fan of prioritization. The reason why is the big eats the small. I was on the EDC for many years, and that was one of the biggest problems that we tried to make sure is these little ports and stuff got fed as well as anybody else did. That was even before I was a commissioner. So whenever you have that prioritization, the big eats the small. If you go out and have this board or whatever put together, the big will eat the small. And that's why I don't support that. That's our job, is to weigh those things out. Also, it's our job to know there's other projects you may not know about, we have to know about, and we have to prioritize which ones are important. Personally, I always see 09 funds as an opportunity to make sure that a project I'm not speaking for your project, but you gave a great example. There are times where there's $1 million or $5 million out there, and it's not there if you don't have $1 million or $500,000 to get it. It just won't happen. That's where we need to prioritize and pay attention to that, realizing that you may be able to get monies other places. This is one time they may not be able to, and with that, that's how we need to prioritize that, personally, how I look at it. I also wanted to point out that even though we have great intentions when we're doing it, if we start farming out everything, then we will also become stupider. it's our job to learn every aspect of every little piece of it that we can. And the more we farm out to somebody else, the less information that we'll have to be able to benefit anybody. So I understand where you're coming from. I just want to tell you that's one of the issues I have with it. When it comes to the amounts, I'd like to see a couple of different little things. I believe there's some tiny eaters out there that it's very important. They need money when they can, and you're not one of the tiny ones. I think other ones were 50,000, be able to come in for up to 50,000 twice a year because their timelines are a little different. To be able to get that, as long as they're on the SEDS list. As a rule, if they're not on the SEDS list, they never got vetted. We don't have time to vet everything. That has to be vetted somewhere else beforehand. And with that though, we also have to have flexibility. Your projects over the past, we have multi-million dollar projects where we're paid 180,000, 100,000 a year for long-term years. We do that because we only have a certain amount of money in the 09 funds to be able to expend. So by putting them out there for 10, 20 years, like we're currently still paying 100,000 on the sewer system. We may have opportunities that come up where that's needed again. It might be for power expansion. But for us, we need the flexibility to look at it and decide that we want to do it over a 5-year period or a 10-year period. So it may be for more money. So I'm not sure that I'm just locked into a $1 million cap because sometimes it doesn't happen. We have to be able to be flexible with that, but we have to know our other monies and put it out there. I love what he's put together. I think it's so nice to actually have a framework. I think it was Kevin that was saying it a year ago, that it would sure help if we had. We've never had one in all the years I've been here. I love having the idea of a framework. As I said, I think he's done excellent with every part of it. The only thing that I could really see us doing that much differently would be the idea of maybe combine them, having a smaller amount for the smaller ports twice a year. But that the regular package could be up to maybe, up to $1 million or whatever. But understanding we do that, we're done for a long time because we just don't have it. We also have to keep monies available for projects that we see for the county for an expansion or whatever as well. So you gotta remember, we're also an eater too. I hate to say it that way, but that's the truth of the matter. We have to consider all that. So with that, I have no problem with being a little flexible on the amounts. I would like to see, bi-yearly for smaller, but I don't have to. And other than that, I thank you for doing all the work that you did to put it together.
Do you mind if I just jump in
I'm
real
not the
quick?
chair.
So, I think, do you mind? Thanks. So I think, the other part of that is kind of sort of maybe at the heart of this, or the spirit of it at least, is to encourage there to be more collaboration between all of the infrastructure providers in the community. And so I think maybe to Commissioner Netherland's point, understanding what projects are happening where is really important, and what that ultimately means to the community kind of broadly is really important. I think it would also, and I'm not sure if this is in the draft policy or not, but ultimately you all would have an opportunity at the outset of an application period to say, this is how much money is available for this funding round. I think that's totally appropriate and within your purview to say, this year we're gonna grant out $500,000, and we're gonna evaluate projects, and we're gonna fund to that amount. That's, I think, within your responsibility as well to sort of manage that fund and be good stewards of it and make sure that there is, that sustainability aspect to it. And so, and I also think, looking at some of the, I think it's probably the port jurisdictions that are really small and sometimes really struggling to figure out where they're gonna get money to do projects. I think about the Port of Grapeview with how critical their dock and boat ramp are to, commercial shellfishing in that area, as well as Port of Hoodsport with their dock issues and what they would like to accomplish from a tourism and recreation perspective there. Even your own boat launch, on Hood Canal and Union is I think the last remaining free boat launch in Mason County on the canal. And so looking at what that means from a tourism revenue generation perspective, as well as commercial shell fishing. So I think you have an opportunity to kind of do both and here. You can kind of set limits and appropriate sideboards on what money is available year in and year out based on what your own budget forecasting is. And I think you also have an opportunity to address some of those, smaller organizations, maybe particular ports that have limited resources and don't have the same ability to go after financing or, any kind of internal, appropriating ability as well, so.
Commissioner. I agree with what you're saying. There will still have to be some type of, maybe a separation where we have something smaller can apply for this and something larger can apply for that. We'd have to be careful, because even if we guaranteed 500 a year, we'd be running out of money really quick, because we don't get a lot that's coming in with everything if we're guaranteeing it, because we're still gonna have a project that comes in that we think is valid, that could mean, 500 jobs for having power in a certain area, and I recognize that. So, but maybe it would be a good thing to also, by doing what you're saying, to teach them, by having a process that's, we'll say 250,000 every year we're gonna put out, it teaches them how to do it at least. And it starts that process. And if we had a smaller amount for the smaller groups, it teaches them as well, because you and I both know, we don't have a process, they don't know how to use it. Quite often, it doesn't get used because they don't know how to use it. And that's why everybody's asking for money now. During ARPA, we kind of taught you how to use it, now it's out there a little bit. And now we have an ex-commissioner that knows how, so he's telling you too, and that's not a bad thing, I'm just saying, that's part of it. So now we have an awareness of it. It wouldn't be a bad idea to start to train people.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to put in the policy a set amount. That'd be something that we have to decide what that amount
Yes.
is.
But that could be in the policy, that each year,
Yeah.
the commission will decide an amount.
It
Under
is, it's in
section-
the very first paragraph, it basically
Or-
says you can, to
Right, or-
paraphrase, you can put out a
Yes.
lot, a little, or nothing, it's up to you.
In section 3, under funding amounts and project costs, under funding thresholds, you could just put to be determined by BOCC and leave out the up tos or up the maximum. Just leave those out
The bullet points?
completely, yeah.
I have a question, just to understand scale, can you give us a little bit of information on what the annual generation is to the county for the .09 funds and what the current fund balance is? I think that might help the conversation of scale.
I'd defer
Jen,
that to
can I-
Jen.
Yeah, so we started the year with over $4 million, so $4,154,488. And the projected 2026 revenue, this includes interest on that, is $1,260,000, so about 1.2 million aside from the interest.
Per year.
And we were able to amass some because of giving out monies out of ARPAs and stuff like that. It kept us from being forced to spend it. So that's why we have some money put away.
Thanks, Jen.
And then just, what have you appropriated for this year? What's
So the
of that
total,
1.2 or whatever?
the total appropriation is just under 740,000, and that includes our internal allocation amount, which is 9,000, so about 730,000 in total. That includes EDC 150,000, the last City of Shelton sewer payment that we have, which is just under 106,000. The Port of Greatview 25,000. Belfair Sewer, 450,000, which I'm not sure if that is going to be transferred or not. We didn't transfer it in 2025. And then that's all.
So as you can see, that leaves several $100,000, but we also have the amount that we have set up too. That's been backlogged up in there. But you can see why we get nervous. We start looking at, 5 million here, so we can't. It's just not enough in that fund.
If you will, Commissioner. We have to consider the planning aspect from all these agencies. These aren't short-term projects, and they take a lot of planning and pre-development at the same time. So any decision point, right, closer to implementation or funding could really hinge the project moving forward. So we need the ability to plan upfront as well as much as we can. So if there is, so as much information as we can receive, I guess, on the project, on the process and the funds that are available, just allows us to plan forward as well.
Yeah, well, that's the purpose
You
of
got
this, is to try and make that easier and more readily available to everyone, so that we can. Commissioner Travis, do you have any comments?
Yeah, oh, man, I'm really glad that you guys came in, so I wanna thank everybody in the room for coming in, and also for sending, we got yours, and another one from,
I think the other one I included was Justin, so I included your feedback in there
Okay.
so that they could consider
Oh,
that
thank
before
you.
the
Yeah.
meetings.
Thank you.
yeah, and I appreciate all those. There are some tweaks that we could make that might make it easier. I would definitely like to take out the bullet points under 3. Under the funding thresholds. But I also want to add in that I like that the BOCC, whoever's comes in 296 days, that the BOCC be the authorizing entity. I do like that a lot, not the scoring entity. I think that should be people outside of our organization, but the BOCC be involved in how it was scored or why it was scored.
You could do a process similar to curbs where the staff or whomever
Yes.
kind of vets the project
Yeah.
to make sure, but the project has to come get pitched to the curb board to get approval. You could make it where the project had to get pitched to the BOCC before it got final
Right, we
approval.
do that with the Public Works Board too.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
all
And it
standard
works.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, I don't have a problem with an outside scoring agency, but ultimately it falls to us to make those decisions. The fact that it's being scored this way is an advisory type function.
Mhm.
And you know, as Commissioner Nettleton pointed out, there may be things that we're aware of that we're going to say, yeah, but we're gonna move this one up anyway, because of something that we know that is going to be, you know, gonna have a bigger impact, even though it's a smaller. So we have to reserve that right, but I have no problem with the scoring agency, you know, doing a lot of the legwork and digging into stuff like that.
And I'll throw out there, I was trying to preserve a balance between the board being educated and, you know, having all the information to make a decision, but still having some criteria by which those were made. And the reason why I left it up to the board was because if in the other part of the policy, they're coming to present to the board to pitch their project, because ultimately you make the decision, you could end up having the board do a whole bunch of work that you're not really going to follow or
Don't have time.
don't have enough time to consider anyway. So I was trying to find the balance in there, and I knew that the general preference was for this commission to have more information rather than less, and I felt like a separate board doing that scoring would ultimately result in you having far less information than you would otherwise.
And I don't mind an advisory role, but I really would disagree with the idea that we just be the ones that issue the money. We need to be a part of each aspect of that. I'm not a fan of some of the things that we do throughout the county where it goes through these advisory boards. It doesn't, eventually it becomes a little click there and stuff too that I don't like. Us being the ones that are responsible for the decision, it has to lay on our shoulders, because that's a lot of money that could disappear for future expenditure. You know, it'd be great to be able to help a huge project today, but if she came in next year with the opportunity for 4 million, but we have to give $1 million of it and we don't have it, that's not good. You know, so we have to keep all that in mind. And that's why I think we need to keep a tight rein on it, not a loose rein on this. So we have it when those opportunities come. Like when the city comes and says, listen, we got this opportunity for a true expansion out here, and we have a development that's going out there. You know we're limited on funds. Can you do something so we can bond out and give us a payment for the next 10 years? That's what they've done in the past, and that's successful, because then we can make it into something bigger. And I want to remind all of us, I'm sure you already know that, but everybody pays into this, and so we want to make sure everybody gets some things. But there are two major players in that, and that is the county and the city. And we have to always be aware that those city projects are specifically supposed to be in our back pockets for considering major investments. Just my opinion, it's probably good for what you're thinking, but at the same time, it's just, I'm trying to be honest with myself as well. Those are the ones that are providers of it.
The payment program is kind of what we're under with our main plan is great. Obviously, we really appreciate that. ultimately, it took us, right, required us to go out and get loans, and we have to bond that, and there's
Yes.
debt services associated with that,
Yes.
right? So, that is a specific conversation outside of the .09 funding, whether the council has the capacity and the will to go out and get the loans if we're not under a moratorium like we were with our main treatment plant back in, how long was that? 18 years ago or something like that at this point. So I think that that's a consideration that I would hope that, you know, the OCC would consider at that point, what kind of impact it has on our existing ratepayers, since we're talking about utilities in most every instance here, right? So it's specific to the ratepayers that are hooked up to that system, and what the appetite is for them to take on any debt service. That decision that the council's gonna make at that point too.
When you consider how much sales tax and stuff that we bring in these days, you can imagine how little it was we had back when that initial agreement was put in, and we were putting in, I think it was 200,000, then it dropped down to 180, then it dropped down to, that ate a lot of what there was available, but it was necessary because you didn't have an option.
Well, I think,
So I would, I guess my recommendation at this point would be maybe to circle back next week to have this discussion again, give you all the opportunity to take all the feedback that you received and think about any modifications that you would want to make, and we can discuss that again next week when you've had a little time to contemplate that.
Thank you, everybody,
Right,
for coming in.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks,
Thanks,
Commissioner.
everyone.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
okay, Dan here.
No,
Let's
interview
see.
first. Interview.
Interview first, okay.
Come on up. I'm assuming. How are you?
You're good.
Good.
Okay. We will go through this. We have a series of questions. I'll start off and Commissioner Trask, if you don't mind going second, and Randy, and then we'll just go round and round with them, so. First of all, first question, what do you see as the function of the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging Advisory Board? Boy, say that 3 times fast.
First, this part of it is to represent Mason County, which is the smaller county in population of this group, and it's been underrepresented in the past. So to take the needs of the county as you see it, or as I can get information from my own perspective, and then bring back information to you.
Right, great. Why do you want to sit on the advisory board? I think you kind of answered that already, but.
Yeah, well, I was interested because there was a little symposium at the senior center a month or so ago, and they were there and other things, and I felt that, you know, the focus is on the infirmities of aging, and it's like, well, that's not right. I says, you know, I know a little bit about aging. I've been doing it for some time. I'm 82 years old, and I'm very active, and I think there's needs for aging for people who are still able, that need, in addition to these things of transportation aids and those kinds of things that they offer. So I think that they're probably a little too narrow in their perspective as far as what I saw from their talk.
Now, the council meets the first Wednesday of each month at the Area Agency on Aging in Olympia from approximately 9:30 to 12 p.m. Currently, this is via Zoom. Will this be an issue for you?
No, it's on Wednesday, and I'd say, gee, that's the one day of the week it's been mostly free. So I don't have any problems of actually going in person or doing Zoom. I do Zoom all the time. I've been in information technology for over 60 years, so it's not a problem.
Do you have any conflict of interest with the mission of the advisory board?
No, I don't think so. I just am opinionated, so.
It's not a conflict of interest.
And the
If it
last,
is, we're screwed.
right, final question is, do you have any questions for us?
What do you expect from the person in this position?
I'll take that question. This is one of my committees,
Uh-huh.
and I am so excited that you're here. But, my expectations for you is just participate.
Mm-hmm.
Help the advisory council as they progress further. It's a great group of people, an amazing group of people, and I think that whoever sits on that is gonna have fun, and the staff at Area Agency on Aging is amazing. And so,
Mhm.
you know, they'll help guide you in the steps moving forward if we all choose to.
Good, yeah, because they're obviously more used to doing what they do than I am
Yeah.
in what they do, so.
Yeah, I've sat in on some of
Mhm.
quite a few of their advisory council meetings, and
Yeah, and I'm
They're
sure
great
they
people.
get insights back
Mhm.
from that as well, because I'm involved in a lot of things at the senior center, and I'm
Okay.
a little disappointed in the turnout on some of these things. We have a yoga group that's been meeting for the last 15, 16 years, and it was really big when we first came here, and it's been shrinking, and let's say how to get people into that. I've actually put the program on audio recording, and I have it out on my personal website that people don't want to come in at 8:30 in the morning. They can do it at home if they listen. But and then we have one on called Family Story Writing, and we're down to a little group of maybe 4 or 5 people, and try to get people encouraged. It's like, you know, we have a lot of experience, we have a lot of history. You can get it out there and that sort of thing. And there's just a lot of things that older people can do and be involved in that I think are being, they're out there, they're just not well advertised.
And before I embarrass myself, how do you say your name?
Oh, I tell people, it's like, well, because of the way it's spelling, it says George, but it's not, it's Larry. Yes. Actually, it's, I tell people, it's pronounced not Lawrence. That was the whole, because my mother told me that the nurse said, well, Larry was a nickname, Lawrence, and she says, well, put this down. You know,
I love it.
So,
Just wanted to make sure. I was gonna say, yeah, it's a different spelling, so.
yeah, there's at least 4 or 5 of us in the country that are that spelling.
Also, it's really common.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, well, we'll discuss this and we'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah.
We're in good shape, and thank you for
Another
coming.
adventure.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. I'll skip over Dan if you would like to join us.
I brought guests, but not as many as last time.
Yeah, but that was cool.
Ready?
Ready?
Awesome. Well, good morning.
Take it away.
Thank you, commissioners, for the time to chat about WSU Extension and the programs that we share.
And who are you?
I'm Dan Trudeberg,
Oh, thank you.
WSU Extension.
I'm Tessa Halloran, Small Firms Master Gardener Coordinator.
And I'm Gay Rathburn. I'm with the Master Gardener Program and Foundation.
So in your briefing packet, we gave you our fall and winter report. I'll read every word to you as we, I'm just kidding. You have it, go through it. There's pictures, there's stories, there's amazing things that we accomplished the last few seasons. Just a huge shout out to our partnership and what the county gets with WSU being here. And I'm so proud of the work that we're doing. And I brought Gay with us today, asked her to participate because you don't always want to hear from Dan as staff. Gay is Master Gardener volunteer, and we have many volunteers in all of our programs, and that's what drives the success of these programs that we offer here in Mason County. Before Gay takes it away, though, I just want to do two brief things out of here that caught my eye when I was reading it from the staff. Food safety is one of the biggest things that is coming kind of about canning and things like that. Mason County, you can get your pressure gauge checked in our office for free. Please do that. We did 16 of them the last few weeks. 9 of them were out of compliance, which means that if you're canning something that requires to be a certain pressure, meat and things, and you think your gauge is there and it's off by a few, but you didn't know that, that potentially is very, very harmful. So please get your gauges checked. And then that's free in our office. So that was one. And then just the last commission meeting when we recognized our 4-Hers. Thank you for doing that. That meant a lot to the families and those 4-Hers. So I thought that was great. So, Gay, do you want to chat a little bit about the Master Gardener program?
Sure. We're master gardeners. We're small but mighty. We don't have a big budget. In fact, our annual plant sale is our sole, at this time, fundraiser. And I have to give a shout out. It's going to be on May 9th. It's the Saturday before Mother's Day, so it's a great opportunity to come out and buy something for Mom. We're going to have vegetables, perennials, trees, natives, you name it. It's going to be at the Lynch Creek Farm Warehouse out on Johns Prairie Road, right across from PUD 3. I think it's 9 to 3:30. Anyway, so we're small but mighty, but what we do bring to any collaboration is our passion and our enthusiasm. And so my goal for the next couple of years is to sort of strengthen our existing collaborations and set up new partnerships with other groups here within Mason County. So just as an example, I think it was last week, we just finalized a collaboration with the Timberland library system in Mason County and with the Mason Conservation District to set up a free seed bank at the Shelton Library, where people in the community can come in and they can get free seeds now. And we're also going to be providing educational classes for them as well. But this is a great collaboration because the Mason Conservation District has expertise in going for grants, so they applied for and got a multi-year grant to purchase the equipment for the seed bank. So that's the seeds, the packages, the equipment. Timberland Library has space, so they've given us a little wall where we can set up our seed bank, and the Master Gardeners are going to be providing the day-to-day sort of monitoring, refilling the seed bank, packaging the seeds, and also doing the classes. So we're looking for many more opportunities to set up these kinds of collaborations with other organizations within Mason County. We've got something come up on March 20th, which is a collaboration. This one's new, so I have to read it. It's we're setting up a collaboration with the Hope Plaza over at the
Faith Lutheran Church.
Right, Faith Lutheran Church in Shelton, and we're going to be distributing free seed kits and free seeds to community members, along with providing, advice, answering questions from any community members there. There's also something coming up in mid-April. It's on the drawing board, which might involve the YMCA, so we're really excited about that. So, none of these are things we could have done independently. We each bring our strengths, we're leveraging our strengths, but together we can make them happen. So we're just looking forward to finding more opportunities for collaborations like these, and we appreciate your support.
That's just one example of a wonderful volunteer who brings her experience into the county to look at what they want to do with their free time, and they give it back to us, which is fantastic. So, big shout out to the Master Gardener program. And if you have any questions about the report or think of anything, or think of you meet someone at a restaurant and want to have them call me, I love that. So thank you.
I need they have to hear this over again. Sorry for them, but I need to always thank you guys when you come in. So many years ago, the cellar trails and stuff, they had,
Yes.
Yeah, they had fired everybody, and when they left, they took all the crews, took all the staff. Everything was gone. There was no money. They were negative in the checking account. And every grant had moved over to another organization. And the thing that saved that whole organization was the Master Gardeners. Dr. Arpad Maisley came in. You guys all took over the whole doggone thing. You did everything from maintaining all the trails, the outside of the building, and replanting and doing everything for that whole organization, as well as teaching classes and stuff for kids, because they had taken that with them as well. And so you guys literally stepped in and did all that for North Mason up there. So when I see it, I'm just always appreciative of it, because literally you saved that whole organization. They would have had to close down if it hadn't been for you guys, so.
Well, so I was gonna mention that, but I wanted to be respectful of your time, but real quick. So yes, so last year, we had a small but very dedicated group of master gardeners, I think two, when I say small. They entered into a partnership with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group, and they are refurbishing the demonstration garden up there at Beeler Wildlands, right, up in Belfair. And they have done a tremendous job of sort of navigating, you know, it's always hard when you have a multi-party collaboration because everybody's got their own priorities, but they've done a wonderful job there. And the partnership's gonna continue into this year. They're gonna be setting up more native plantings in that area, and also a composting exhibit and a pollinator garden. So we're really excited about
That's
that.
wonderful.
And giving
14
classes.
new ones joining us who are going to be helping out with all that. So
Yes,
very
yay,
exciting. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, super proud of our work, and I can't do that without the support of the commissioners and the county, so thank you very much. I appreciate you guys so much, and if you have any questions or comments, or you meet someone, send them our way. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sheriff's Office. Good morning.
Good morning. No sheriff today. You look a little bit tanned.
I do.
Don't worry, it'll all peel
I need
off.
to shake you.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
I'd rather
don't know.
see him shake you.
Did I say shake me?
It's temporary, tan. It was burned in the wall.
You had it painted on?
No, but it was red a couple days ago.
Joy, I should have one in 3 weeks, so.
Well, good morning, Commission. We're here to talk about the body-worn camera program. Kind of as the briefing talks about, back in 2021, we entered into like a 5-year program with GTAC and Rugged Development. As we moved forward here, there was certain kind of refresher periods. We hit that 2-year refresher, the cameras were replaced. And then as we moved into the last refresher that was supposed to be here at the beginning of 2026, we were informed by GTAC and then the new vendor or middleman, Bright, that they no longer have the cameras that we were supposed to refresh to. They're not making them, they weren't servicing them. So basically they were telling us it was gonna be about $80,000 to move to the new technology, which was at a discount. I am happy to say that I got off the Zoom meeting with them this morning, and that number is now down to about 19,000 from 70,000. So all we're looking at now, or all we're asking for now, is about 19,000 for support systems and equipment. So like the chargers, the plugs, and things of that nature. But they have agreed to refresh all of our cameras to the latest and greatest, newest version they have.
I'm glad, because when I was hearing you at first, I was ready to say, because we were all part of when all that stuff was happening, if they can't maintain this, we need to go back out, but if this is what they can do, I can already tell you right now, I'm supportive. You did a great job in renegotiating all that and making that happen and bringing them back in.
Yeah, there's a little cost to it, and that's why we're coming forward. We'll need a supplement, and I don't know whether it's the June or July supplement or the November one, but that's a cost that we're gonna push forward. And that's what we're here for, is asking that funds for you, from you.
And I mean, we still have the grant out there that we had applied for. We just don't know right now if the support systems are gonna be covered under that grant, so it's a 1-for-1, but if those systems do fall under it and we are awarded it, hopefully we can get that number down to, about 10,000 instead of 20,000. So
That's way better than 70.
yeah.
That's all.
That's cool.
What do I have in my packet? I got a thing on a corporal.
That should have been pulled.
Okay.
Yeah, the sheriff wants to have a discussion with you individually offline, and then we'll brief it out
Okay.
after that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If it's not, well, I'm sorry.
Actually, I like it. I think it's a good idea. They built a bench for a small price, and It's not like corporals don't work, just put on the white hat and say we're not working, so I like it.
Boy, Mission.
No. Just kidding.
Gosh, you sound like.
No, of course. Cameras, getting those body cameras and the cameras for the cars, that was one of the best purchases we've made for you guys, so, absolutely.
There's a project going forward that Nate's gonna be looking at is leasing out cameras into the future, kinda like we do with the TASER program, so it's a consistent cost year over year. And,
But you get new equipment when
yeah.
needed, yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
so.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of work. I know the lieutenant's been put on the spot with going back and reaching back out to GTAC. It was kind of a unique situation where originally they had gone with one vendor and then they had switched, and we just found ourselves all of a sudden in a position where we were due for the upgrade, and then the new vendor was saying, we don't have anything to give you. The Zoom call we was on this morning, they've agreed to give us the cameras. It is just the docking stations and the support pieces that we're going to have to purchase, which again, coming down from 78,000 down to 19 is a huge, huge ordeal.
Perfect
There's a lot of
example,
work.
if you don't ask, the answer is no.
Yep.
There's a little bit of breach contract discussion that was going on.
Let's not go there. Thank you so much.
Sheriff, Lieutenant, I'm down with that. We'll have to make some other phone calls.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Hey, this next item, I don't know what there must have been a mix-up with the calendar, because the request was for it to be for the March 16th briefing, in anticipation of some fine tuning that took place last week. I haven't had a chance to review the final changes with the team and sign off for them, so I'd like to reschedule according to the originally requested calendar date of the 16th. We'll be back
I was
then.
confused, I can see on the paperwork it says the 16th, but on the agenda it's today,
Yeah.
so.
I'd requested the 16th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for saving us time.
Yeah.
I need it.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, how soon you got to?
Yep.
I got the hours behind you to make it time, so we're doing good.
Yeah.
We're doing good. You're on.
Cal.
The big one was the hard one that you took. That could have been a lot longer.
I'm going first and then
Okay.
you, yeah, but I mean, you can come up, join me.
Let's get more to the table.
A couple items this morning. The first one,
And you are?
I am Kel Rowan, I'm the Community Development Director,
And you brought with you?
and I brought with me.
Morning, Luke Fiscusi, also Basin County Community Development and Historic Preservation Commission.
We know that, but it's for
I know,
the
for
public.
the
Thank you.
millions of viewers that we
Yeah.
have every time Luke
of
comes to
them.
the table.
It's only when Luke comes.
He's a huge influencer.
I'm gonna post about this after.
You could wear my Meta smart glasses. Film.
Whoa.
I know. Cool, huh?
So cool.
The first item is I'm asking that the commission support signing a letter of support for some ecology grant funds for the Mason Conservation District in partnership with the Squaxin Island Tribe and the Salmon Enhancement Group to do a restoration project. There's a map, so it's in the southwest portion of the county, off of in the Camilche area. So there is the property. There's property owned by Squaxin, and then there's some additional properties that would be acquired, and it would restore stream and wetland area for salmon populations. It's a really cool project, and it's within the YRA 14 project area, or within YRA 14 area, but that the project's in. And so I think it's a project that the county should support as part of the YRA work. And so I've drafted a letter, just curious if you have any comments on the letter, and then it would ask that the chair sign the letter in support for the ecology grant funds. I think they're asking for nearly $2.5 million, $2.45 million.
I only have one question. Is there any conflicts or competition with any county grants?
No, we are not submitting. This was a $40 million statewide for the YRA projects, and the county is not submitting at this time, so, yeah.
Then I'm supportive.
Yeah.
I support it, but I think that it'll have to be approved at our next commission meeting.
Unless you want the administrator to sign.
That
So
would
when-
work
when-
as well, right.
When does it need to be?
Be prior. I told Mackenzie, I can't remember the date. Mackenzie, did I say she needed it by the 17th? No, by the, I can't remember. But it was before the next meeting. That's why, yeah, rather than
So we
putting it on an
probably
action
just have to
agenda,
have
so
our
perhaps have.
Administrator, and we can have,
Yeah,
I'm okay with.
Okay.
Travis.
I'll have Mackenzie change that on for the letterhead. Okay, awesome.
Yep.
All right, morning, commissioners. The Mesa County Historic Preservation Commission does an annual grant for nonprofits in the county focused on historic preservation. They allocated $16,000 in their budget this year. They put out the news release in late November, and the grant deadline was in January. Then at the February Historic Preservation Commission meeting, they reviewed all the grants in a public meeting, and the result of that meeting was the following recommendations for funding: $4,000 to both the Harstein Island Community Club and Mason County Forest Festival, $3,675.38 to the Mesa County Historical Society, $288.31 to both the McCreevy House Museum of Hood Canal and the Skokomish Grange, and $3,748 to, oh, I missed something there. That last line shouldn't be Skokomish Grange. It should be the South Sound Fruit Society. I apologize for the copy and pasting issue
I was
there.
gonna ask you. Okay, there goes my question.
Yep, South Sound Fruit Society is that last $3,748. I apologize about that.
So they're gonna be able to do toilets for $288?
They are essentially doing a portion of their original price, or a portion of their original scope. I apologize. This is, there was a few discussions, but because of the expedited timeline of getting these grants done and you folks approving it, there wasn't time to revise that contract. But if they want a revision of the scope, we'd be open to it in the coming months. It was just one of those things where timeline wise, we had to get this to you folks first. But yeah, it was looked at, and I think ultimately there is an email exchange between myself and the Skokomish Grange where they say, you know, we can do some version of our scope, and make sure they still get the project done. They prove, you know, we've still done the scope of the project, but we've only used.
What was their original ask, do you remember?
It was like complete renovation of multiple ADA bathrooms in the building. So it was, you know, toilets plus entire renovation of the bathrooms. Might have been.
So closer to the top mark then?
It was probably closer to $4,000, if not about $4,000. Yeah.
I can see asking for a little more from the commission, but I have a hard time taking to that limit. We've set the other parameters, so I'll just remain silent.
So ultimately, this is the full $16,000 that was put out. I think I sent you folks a packet of 100 pages of all the different grant applications. And then if you folks are supportive, the chair would just be signing the contract on these. Any questions?
Do you happen to know what we have in that fund?
Which fund?
The grant funding that we have for the historic preservation.
So, Historic Preservation Commission has its own fund that has been built up over time. Essentially, it's $1 of every recording fee goes to historic preservation. And so that's all the funding we get is $1 per recording. So last year came out to, I think, above $13,000. Previous, it's above $13,000, but they were building up over time. So I think now the fund might be somewhere in the range of like $30,000 to $40,000 after we allocate these grants, but I'm just going off of memory on
And that's
that.
after the allocation.
Yeah.
That's your district out there, but I know that they've been working real hard to try and do something with a spectacular, historic part of that community.
You referring to the Skokomish Grange?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've given them grants each of the last 2 years as well for repairing floors and I believe ceilings in there as well as they try to get closer and closer to getting a certificate of occupancy. And this was one of their, if not their final items, that was identified by the building department a few years back.
We might actually start using it again.
That'd be
That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I support it.
So this has got to wait till next week before we can take action.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Okay. I support it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it
you.
from us.
Have a nice rest of your day.
You too.
I see Mike Collins over there.
Next.
There you.
Why, thank you.
Good morning.
Still.
Almost an hour left.
All we have on the, for the agenda is the news release for the spring herbicide vegetation management program. That's starting in April 1st, depending on the weather. People can still come get owner well-maintained signs if we need to. We actually did a review. There's actually 87 properties that are on the no spray list. 10 of those, they were all contacted, reached out to by either by phone or email. 10 have changed ownership, and so they want to be not on the list. And 5 want to continue, 7 have disconnected phones, and 65 have not reported back. So we're working on it though. So next is the Public Works Annual Certification for 2025. This is required by CRAB. It's due April 1st, and the chair will be contacted for e-sign to certify the expenditures for traffic law enforcement and for fist passage barrier removal that's outside the county right-of-way. In other words, 0. So it's easy to sign off.
That's a good number.
That's a
Yeah.
good. And then next we have Mitch Anderson has a private line occupancy permit for a septic transport line at 8101 North Shore Road. And he's replacing an existing line, so that's a good thing too. That's all we have for the agenda, but we do have a news release coming up. I knew you'd be around here somewhere.
I'm on my way. Morning.
Good morning.
So I got 2 items for you guys. One is we have another Solid Waste Advisory Committee application for Terry Prather.
How many openings do you have?
Right now we have 1, 2 if she's selected for one, 3 if she would not be selected.
And you serve on that one, correct?
So she's for District 2 citizen.
Do you already know her, or?
She's attended our last 2 meetings.
Yeah, I think she'd be a good one.
You want to just?
Yeah, moving
Okay.
forward.
Just go forward with it? All right, awesome, thank you. And then the other one is solid waste free dump vouchers.
Well,
It's
something's
that-
wrong with us. We gotta.
It's that time again.
It makes a big difference.
So we did get them printed, we're just waiting for the.
Were you able to
process.
get any more this year from them?
We did, we printed 1,000 this year. So we're gonna disperse them a little bit differently, so we should have more available for down here.
Yeah, and make sure we get them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of people that, a lot of groups that are cleaning up our
Yep.
county that are dependent on it.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's all I have.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a question that may have to go to you, actually. So the community, about every year, maybe every 2 years, people get all pissed off about recycling and everything like that. My memory, it was before I ever got here, but memory has it that it was passed and it had to be all or nothing in the county at the time when they passed it. And so when they did it, they agreed to make it all or nothing. Is that what the way it is now? Do we have a contract with Mason County Garbage where recycling is for everybody, or can they opt out?
So as far as I know, talking with Chad, one of our last SWAC meetings, it's required if you're in the city limits, because that just came with it when we took over. As far as I know, I'd have to look into a little more, but I don't believe you have to have it if you're in the county, in the rural areas.
Because I think they
Check
say
that.
that you do, so
Yeah.
can you
Okay.
double check
I will
that
double
with
check
us
and, yep.
look at what our options are so that we can have a talk about it as commission,
Check
know
that,
whether
because
we
I
want
think
to do
that,
that.
I think that it is required.
Okay.
If they're doing pickup for trash, then they also do pickup for
Yeah,
recycling.
but I think it may have been because the county said, or passed something that said it before I became a commissioner.
Yeah, I'll get with Chad and
Let's
check
find
and
out,
let you know.
because if that is an option, we should have a discussion on whether that should be required on these people or not, especially those that don't
Okay.
recycle.
Yep,
Thank you.
no problem.
Anything else?
Great job, the sides of the roads are looking amazing. I love how you guys are cutting that. Because I can spot deer a lot easier.
Yeah.
Thank you for handling the citizen issue.
Yeah.
By the
It's a
way,
much better
you did a
line
great
of sight.
job.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
I called him afterwards. He was
Yeah,
very
you guys
happy.
are okay.
All right, good to hear. I'm glad.
Customer service. goes a
Yes,
long way.
absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Bye, Kevin, it's always a pleasure.
Travis.
First up, John Taylor.
Two things, Commissioner, so I'll be fairly quick. Pre-planning grant, the Homeland Security Emergency Management Performance Grant. We've been awarded the grant, however, it's traditionally now a 2-week turnaround. And because of the scheduling of the commission between the briefings and the approval piece, I'm coming in advance of the contract to ask that the administrator be able to sign that contract as long as we don't change anything that we provided to you, which is on the list of what we're going to purchase. That way we can get it turned around, get it back, and get it spent before there are any issues with that.
I like it.
I support that.
Same.
A second piece is search and rescue's come so far in the last 3 years. I wanted them to come in and present it to you because you hear from me all the time. So the gentleman here is going to provide their training, what they've done in the last year, which I think you'll find to be pretty phenomenal. They're probably one of the best responding agencies in the state. So I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jesse Floberg. I'm a member with Mason County Search and Rescue and also serve as a member of the Board of Directors. Born and raised Fox Island, Gig Harbor, and now 20 years retired Air National Guard, and now it's been nice to have a way to serve the community through search and rescue. I'm not here with an ask today, but simply want to share with you some of the highlights of our 2025 year-end report and 2026 capabilities update, and make sure that you know that we are a resource ready to serve Mason County. As you're probably aware, Mason County Search and Rescue is a private, nonprofit, all-volunteer, and donor-funded organization. We operate under the authority of and are activated by the Sheriff's Office and are supported by Division of Emergency Management as part of the Emergency Worker Program. In 2025, Mason County Search and Rescue provided critical life safety services across Mason County and throughout the Western Washington region, supporting 34 missions, which was a 50% increase over the previous year. We conducted 59 training exercises and participated in 102 coordination meetings and community events. These combined resulted in a total of 9,432 personnel hours of volunteer time. When compared to an annual salary at $45 per hour, this brings the county and surrounding regions a combined benefit of $424,000 in service value. In 2025, 34 missions culminated in 15 persons located, 3 major evidence finds. 12 of these missions utilized canine search dog resources. 11 of these missions were resolved where the person was located while responders were en route. There were 3 missions where evidence was not located and 2 missions where persons were not found. But to note, the 2 persons not found were missions that they were later found in later search periods or on different days. Some mission highlights just from last month included assisting with locating a missing hiker in the Sol Duck area of Olympic National Park, and also assisting with the rescue of 2 injured hikers on Mount Eleanor. You might have seen some of the news coverage with the Coast Guard helicopter up there.
Mm-hmm.
We have 5 integrated units, so ESAR, which is the bulk of the ground searchers, K9 unit, mobile, drone, and an operations support unit. We have put in the work over the last few years to develop as a solid resource to support the county and sheriff's department in searches, rescues, and recoveries when needed. Over the last few years, our team has seen an approximate 50% growth, not only in volunteer numbers and participation, but also in our tiered leadership rank structure. At this moment, we have 68 active volunteers, 51 of whom are fully trained and certified as field searchers in areas such as wilderness first aid, CPR, survival techniques, navigation, lost person behavior, search management, and search tactics. We have 5 novice members and also 10 members in training status. So from the bottom up, 35 of our members are certified ground searchers, 23 team leaders, 9 field leaders, and then 3 operations leaders. So we've been able to, with the balanced leadership structure, it's increased our stability and reliability when called upon in the field. On top of our ground searching capability, we have 4 canine teams certified in air scent, trailing, and human remains detection disciplines, and have 4 more canines currently in training. We also have 3 Part 107 licensed drone pilots currently developing a drone UAS drone unit. Mason County Search and Rescue has been putting in the time to be ready and to be a reliable asset to the county. Our volunteers have been working hard to obtain new skills and certifications, and our deliberate growth and capabilities have led to strengthened relationships with our Sheriff's Office, Special Operations Rescue Team, and the fire departments. We have also participated in a large number of out-of-county missions, which builds mutual support and networking with other search and rescue resources throughout the region. This builds rapport and working relationships that bring vital additional volunteer resources to Mason County when we need them. It's our pleasure to serve the citizens and visitors of Mason County and Western Washington. Happy to answer any of your questions, and thanks for your time.
So, supported law and fire agencies, this is us helping out Lewis County and Kitsap County, or?
Correct, so they'll put out, you know, so the sheriff's departments in different counties can put a call out to state emergency management, and then they can call on other outside resources. So it helps us. We've had a lot of actual searches where surrounding counties come and help us out on some of the big evidence searches and things like that. So it's
21 outside of our area. Good job.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate you guys. I think you guys do a great job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm sure that those you find also appreciate you as well.
Yeah. Nobody appreciates you more than the one that gets found.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. And
Oh,
thanks
thank you.
thanks for keeping the volunteers active too.
Yeah. They deserve it, so.
Right? Yeah, and also thanks for the reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for looking.
Well, hello. Friendly face.
And Kelly, too.
So I'm Jennifer Byerly, Budget and Finance Manager, and I have
Thanks.
3 items for you this morning. So the first one that I have is the status update and reallocation request from American Rescue Plan Act funds and then the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund grants. So we have a total of $23,115.30 left over on completed projects on the American Rescue Plan Act grant. But the first one, the Economic Development Council cluster study, you had awarded them $50,000 on that project, and they underspent it. They were under the impression that they had spent it all, and so they're checking their records to make sure that they don't need to bill us for that $5,631.51. I should have done a more thorough.
Well, is there
check
something
on
else
that.
that they can do that's within the scope of that work to do it, instead of just trying to find ways to use the money that they have?
Probably, they probably
Let's have them
could.
do that. Let's have them look and see
Well,
what else.
sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you.
no.
We would have to, we can't do a new project, but yeah, within the scope,
yeah.
yeah.
A little extra work's not a bad thing. We have the money
Yeah.
for it. It'll go back if we don't.
Yeah, we would have to open up that contract again either way. So anyway, I'll check with Kevin on that and then get back to you on that. But we do have the $17,483.79 for sure left over in the temporary staff administration. So that amount we can reallocate to an open project. My recommendation, and you can do whatever you want with it, but my recommendation would be the governmental operations and the, I forget what we called it exactly, but it's governmental operations and law enforcement, law and justice, I think.
Just make it happen.
Okay, great.
We're all on
I think that's where it should go.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
because
thank
you're not
you.
gonna have any hiccups by doing that, right? It'll just be-
Exactly, yeah, there won't be
Yeah.
any problems. It's an open project
Yeah.
and we can just almost be done with these funds. Then the other one, the LATCF funds, the local assistance and tribal consistency funds. So the amounts that were given to district court and 100,000 and then 50,000 to Superior Court, they underspent that a little bit by $14,551.19. So I would like to reallocate those funds as well.
Can
if
you
we
without any hiccup there? Because that was specific. If you think we can do it, I just don't want to get caught with it. If we can have them spend it on something else, that will give more.
Can we use it in the rate? Because it would still be kind of under that definition.
Yeah, we definitely could transfer that over, but yes, those funds are separate and there's no time frame on them. There is a
LATCF.
Yeah, on the LATCF. The only thing we can't do is lobbying services with those funds. There is a report that's due at the end of this month for that, so I can go in and make sure that that I can reallocate those funds.
If not, just have them buy some more furniture and stuff that they need in the courts.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that there is some jury chairs they
I was
need
gonna
as we
say,
speak.
yeah.
Okay.
13 jury chairs for downstairs, maybe we could,
Because you were doing that box, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spend it and
Okay.
or reallocated it, but, just don't have us get caught in the end with them saying, I don't think you should have done that.
Okay, sounds good.
I'd rather spend
We will need to do a budget amendment for them for that amount because it was in the 25 budget, not in 26, so just so you're aware. Okay, great, thank you.
And that's in June, right?
Yeah, that's in June, but the actual public hearing is in June, but it has to be done and planned out in May, I think it is.
Well, we know the budget manager, I think we could talk to her.
Yeah, right, yeah. It has to be adopted in May, is what I meant. The next thing is a joint briefing with Kelly and I on the motor pool, the new vehicle versus, retaining a vehicle versus, yeah, or just using our existing fleet. And the cost for a new one, there isn't a lot of difference between getting a new lease versus keeping a lease, except for that reallocated or turned over lease. We wouldn't be able to use those funds in the new lease, so that's
Yeah.
where we would.
So it's only
lose out.
2,000 is the difference then?
Yeah, but we'd have a third option.
Yeah, which is?
Kel has offered up a vehicle in their department that they're not using.
That
on a
is not
regular
ready to be
basis.
recycled through?
Yeah, I don't think it's ready to
Yeah,
be.
because if it's still on the list to be recycled through, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But if it's not
It-
on the list to be recycled through yet,
it was on the list to be, it was one of the Ford Rangers, so it was on the list to be cycled through. It is the least of the ones that I would have done, but it has 16,000 miles on it is all.
Mhm.
And it's sitting out here ready to do whatever you guys tell me to do with.
but we also will get more from it it'll sell for for more because it's only got 16,000 miles.
Potentially,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a, but yet if we get a brand new one, if there's only $2,000 difference, if we get a brand new one, we'll probably make that up, just in its resale value, or close to it.
So get a new one, but we would be reducing the
Yes.
fleet
We'd
by
end up reducing the fleet by one.
but then
Yes.
add, you know,
Yes.
it'd be.
Reduce it by one, but then adding one
Yeah.
for the new person, so
Yeah.
we could stay even.
That's what I
as they
think.
had.
But it'd be a net zero change in
Yes.
the 2026 budget. We would just be reallocating those funds from DCD into the assessor's office.
Well, is there still one that, since they don't need it, is there still,
What about the one up at the North Basin?
That's on the sheriff's side.
That's on the sheriff's side,
Yeah.
okay.
We run three different, the sheriff,
Yeah.
White Fleet, and then sheriff White Fleet.
no, I'm good with it. If, you know, if you see another opportunity to let one go and we get one.
So I think what I
positive.
do, we will get that ordered. I might drag my feet a little bit, so they have that while
Yeah.
the new one's waiting to get turned in.
Right.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I love how we're doing this now.
If we're turning two in, we're getting
That's
one,
really cool.
then we should be one ahead. That's what I'm missing in my head.
But we're adding one because of the
Yeah,
ad.
but
So
we're adding one,
gonna
so-
add-
No, we're getting rid of two though, right?
Just one.
Well, we would, if Kel's not using that one, we ought to get rid of that one too, if it's gonna be cycled through with the profit. We ought to be getting rid of two and
Getting rid of
redoing
two.
one. Okay, so then that is, so it's gonna be a positive one for us.
But we added one for the assessor and added one for the grant-funded one from environmental health. So we're gonna end up.
So we're taking
Yeah.
two and
Yeah,
the
we're-
other two.
yeah, that's
Yep.
okay. But
Yep.
still, better than having plus two.
Correct.
It's plus point two for each one.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yep.
So the last thing that I have is the Washington State Conservation Commission contract. They did an amendment number 3, and they actually turned it in to me last October, and I missed briefing it, so apologize to the Mesa Conservation District for that. But they just need this agreement formally approved and signed, and then we're redoing our ILA with Mason Conservation District so that they can do that work under the contract. So,
I'm good with that. Great.
Okay.
thank you. That's all of that I have for you. Thank you.
I only have a couple things. I know that you all were needing to talk about the MTA interviews, specifically for Mackenzie's benefit, so she knows whether or not she needs to set anything up. So if you could
We need
circle
to
back
find
on
out how
that.
many we have too. We already know that Wes is on there,
But he's
So-
expired.
Yeah,
You
but-
want to
yeah.
reappoint
Just
him?
reinstate
yeah,
him.
just
Okay,
like
so-
everybody, he's already on there.
Okay.
And so the question is there one or two to fill? If there's,
Well,
So
We
there's
could-
John
go ahead.
Sheridan
Yeah.
and,
I couldn't remember the and, that's,
Sheriff Sperling.
oh, Sheriff
Yes.
Sperling, that's it.
Yeah, so we have 2 that we want to interview,
So that would be,
so that would be the 2 spots.
yep. Do you still want to interview them or just,
No,
because they're both,
let's just offer them with the
well,
positions.
I think one of them was on her many years ago when I was on, so, yeah.
Let's just offer them with positions.
Okay.
And that would be Judy Scott and Pam,
Schlonderhoff.
thank you. Well, I was gonna get that one right. Sound good?
Okay, that answer your question, Mackenzie?
That is perfect.
Very good. So the
Awesome,
only other
awesome.
thing I got is I received an email from a Lorraine Ralston, and she is from the WSHS, somewhere in government. What's that?
America 250.
It is about the America 250. Apparently, she had been in conversation with Mark before he left, and so I was unaware of this, but they're asking if the county would like to be active participants in the America 250, and apparently there's some place that you can sign up as a partner on their website.
So does
they
that
can
entail?
list you. I really, honestly have no idea. I
Whatever you
just got the
want.
email.
It's not, it doesn't commit you to anything.
But you're in there.
At the time, we said, no, we're not gonna we're not gonna sign up as a county, but my wife is very active with them.
Yeah. Well, I know we don't do declarations, but what can we do to, it's a big thing.
It is.
And I've had people ask me at different times, and the only thing I know is we don't do declarations, but it's a big thing.
I think if you, they have a link to a website on here, and I believe you go onto the website, you sign up as a partner, and then it
Yeah.
shows on their list that you're a partner to the
I
America
have
250
no problem with
celebration.
that. I'd actually even like somebody to reach out and find out if there's something that
Yeah.
county can,
Well, then I wonder.
because we have our group.
We can put something on our county website too,
Yeah.
promoting that or.
Oh, I'm sure there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things you can do. I just literally just got the email, so I just thought I'd
I
bring it
think
up
with the
since
head
I had
nod,
the
I think we're all
opportunity.
okay with at least doing that much, but reach out and find out if there's something that's needed.
Hey, Pat, can I comment really quick?
Sure.
I was at that meeting with Mark and this lady, and basically all they're looking for is to incorporate the word out there,
Oh,
and a parade.
I know, she came in and met
Yeah.
with us.
So, I mean, they're just looking to incorporate their stuff in whatever we do. If we have a parade or if we have stuff like that, is really what they're looking for. It's kind of an unfunded mandate by the state. They kind of said, here, they
Yeah.
hired this lady and they said, here, figure it out, but nobody gets any money to do it.
Absolutely. They're not, the state is not very enthused about it, but Lorraine is.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, and
so
so
I
are the
can
rest of us.
jump on there and sign us up through
Yeah.
their website. Okay.
That's what I got.
I did also receive another email. This is somewhat related, but I'll throw it in there. It's also related to the America 250. Apparently, there's one of the things that they're doing to honor that is in different areas that have timber. They're using local timber to make American flags. Apparently, a local group is doing that with Sierra Pacific, and they would like to come present that to the commission. And so, if you don't have any objections, I can set that up as a
I don't
specific
think
item
that violates
for.
our
That's cool.
So-
thing, that's,
It's also my wife.
yeah.
So yeah, if we could,
Then he'll recuse himself, and I think yes.
if you don't object,
Yes.
we'll have it set up for a
Let's do
regular
that.
meeting so that
Yeah.
it's.
I think that's
They're
cool.
they're also planting a freedom forest, I think they call it, 250 trees they're planting.
That's so cool.
They're gonna have the group go out there and be there for a ribbon cutting, they're gonna put a big sign up.
Okay. So I will get back to them and let them know that we can set that up and find out when they'd like to arrange that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Boy Scout groups. It's actually, the flag thing is growing. We've got people in Spokane who wants flag kits, and
That's so cool.
Wenatchee, and up, and it's all over the state. Sierra Pacific says, yeah, we don't care. It's scrap lumber.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So it's actually kind of exploding.
Yeah, that sounds super cool, actually. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
So
And
I
that's
would
all I
like-
have.
I'd like to move this guy, Larry,
I agree.
forward.
I agree.
Okay. Awesome.
So we'll write up the letter and get it sent out.
Yes, Mackenzie will write up the letter.
Mackenzie, write up the letter.
I have nothing else.
I have nothing
I
else.
have nothing. Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Let's adjourn. We are adjourned.